The key to a successful gold dredge is efficiency.
Been pretty rough this year.
3,000 ounces. We can't keep going like this because I'll never make it. We got to get the hopper down there. We got to get the screen decks, the sluice boxes. What'd you buy? I'm excited. Let's go.
$120 million in raw gold. Let that sink in for a second. Shawn Pomrenke has just flipped the entire gold rush world on its head with a discovery so massive it's shaking the industry from top to bottom. We're not talking about a lucky haul or a good season. We're talking about a historic breakthrough that cements Pomrenke as one of the toughest, sharpest, and most fearless miners on the planet. For months, rumors hinted at a rich pocket buried deep beneath the Bering Sea. But nobody, not even the old-school veterans, imagined anything close to the colossal strike Shawn just brought up. From the deck of the legendary Christine Rose, he and his crew battled brutal waves, freezing winds, and non-stop breakdowns just to reach the treasure waiting below. With every bucket rising from the water, more gold spilled out, nugget after nugget, proving their skill, endurance, and sheer determination. And now, the mining world is in absolute chaos. Investors are scrambling, competitors are stunned, social media is erupting, and overnight, the Bering Sea has become the gold mining capital of the planet. But this isn't only about money. This discovery is rewriting the limits of offshore mining and inspiring a new generation of risk-takers ready to chase the impossible. So buckle up, hit that like button, and subscribe, because we're about to break down exactly how Shawn scored the most jaw-dropping $120 million gold strike in Bering Sea history. Shawn Pomrenke, the one and only Mr. Gold, has just delivered what many are calling the greatest haul ever recorded in modern mining. A staggering $120 million pulled from some of the most dangerous waters on Earth. This isn't a lucky season. This is the kind of breakthrough that becomes a chapter in mining history books. Everything began with quiet murmurs around Nome's harbor. Word spread that Shawn's team had identified a gold deposit so gigantic it sounded unreal, but armed with the Christine Rose and a detailed plan, the crew plunged into the icy darkness below. Each scoop of seabed revealed more shimmering proof. This was no rumor. This was the motherlode. Within hours, the mining world was ablaze. One haul worth $120 million. Unthinkable. Until the footage left no room for doubt. At the center of this operation was the Christine Rose, Shawn's powerhouse dredge, engineered for the brutal conditions of the Bering Sea. This beast tore through tons of seabed like nothing before it. Crushing waves, sub-zero water, shifting tides, none of it slowed the operation. Even when equipment broke, the team patched it, fixed it, or rebuilt it on the fly. By the end of each day, it was clear. The Christine Rose had produced numbers no one thought a vessel of its kind could achieve. But striking gold on this scale wasn't luck. It was strategy, science, and sheer persistence. Shawn's team hunted for the legendary deposit using sonar imaging, geological mapping, and weeks of scouting. They weren't guessing. They were executing a plan built on data and instinct. When the first extraction began, the results were jaw-dropping. Each run brought up more gold than the last. What should have been an ordinary season instantly turned into a discovery for the ages. Then came the real battle, getting the gold out safely. The sea threw everything it had at them. Broken hydraulics, clogged pumps, dead sensors, engine shutdowns. Storms roared in out of nowhere, hammering the Christine Rose with towering waves and howling winds, but Shawn's leadership never slipped. Calm, sharp, and focused, he kept the team moving through chaos. They improvised repairs, rewired systems in the middle of storms, and pushed themselves through grueling shifts because they knew the mother lode was right beneath their feet. Every failure sparked a new idea. When the main sluice overloaded with gold, a problem miners dream of, the crew redesigned the flow system in a matter of hours. When electronics failed during a night storm, Shawn took manual control and guided the dredge himself through brutal currents. Morale stayed high because everyone on board felt the same thing. History was within reach. Once the weather cleared, the operation went full throttle. Sluice systems ran non-stop. Every load of seabed was analyzed, filtered, and processed with surgical precision. Crew members moved like a well-oiled machine, turning the cold, black depths of the Bering Sea into piles of gleaming gold. Ton after ton of material transformed into the most valuable metal on Earth, a testament to the team's skill, endurance, and laser-focused discipline. But the impact of this massive score stretches far beyond the deck of the Christine Rose. A $120 million haul means a surge of opportunity for the entire Nome region. Fuel suppliers, mechanics, shipping companies, hotels, restaurants all saw business explode overnight. Mining investors are already circling, spotting untapped potential in the Bering Sea. New jobs sprang up, from dredge operators and engineers to transport drivers and logistics crews. This single discovery didn't just change Pomrenke's future, it reshaped the economic pulse of the region. As the gold kept piling up, financial experts began mapping out the long-term ripple effects of the strike. This single haul had the potential to bankroll future expeditions, unlock high-tech upgrades, and fuel expansions that would make Pomrenke's operations faster, smarter, and even more profitable. Local governments were already estimating the boost in tax revenue, money that could flow back into roads, ports, education, and community services. In a matter of days, Shawn Pomrenke went from being known as a top-tier miner to being recognized as a driving force behind regional growth. His discovery proved how one breakthrough in the right hands can transform not just a season, but an entire economy. The $120 million strike became a real-time example of how innovation, fearless leadership, and strategic planning can turn a remote, hazardous stretch of ocean into a powerhouse of opportunity. Even with nature working against them, the extraction became a showcase of human creativity and unity. The team sharpened every step of the process, fine-tuning their workflow until it ran like clockwork. Every fleck of gold, from dust-sized specks to palm-sized nuggets, felt like a hard-fought victory over the unpredictable Bering Sea. Their methods set a new bar for efficiency, blending old-school mining wisdom with advanced technology to squeeze every ounce of value from the seabed. Despite brutal weather, relentless waves, and technical setbacks, the crew's combination of precision engineering, real-time analytics, and raw hands-on expertise made possible what many thought couldn't be done. The financial impact of this operation stretched far beyond the headline number. It reshaped expectations across the industry. Suddenly, investors imagined new horizons. Mining startups studied Shawn's approach like a blueprint. Local economies recalculated budgets and growth plans around incoming revenue surges. The story of this record-setting haul quickly transformed into a masterclass in calculated risk, meticulous strategy, and massive reward. It proved that with the right vision, plus a crew willing to work through danger and uncertainty, even the most unforgiving waters can become a gateway to historic wealth. Life aboard the Christine Rose became a dangerous but exhilarating rhythm, a daily showdown with cold seas, heavy machinery, and razor-thin margins, every success built momentum. Every setback demanded quick thinking and adaptability. From the roar of engines to the sight of gold sliding through the sluice trays, the magnitude of the operation was clear in every moment. The crew's discipline, teamwork, and tireless dedication didn't just shape the season. They set a new benchmark for the entire Bering Sea mining sector. Consistent effort, creative problem-solving, and tight financial planning turned what could have been a season of chaos into a defining moment for Shawn Pomrenke and his team. This was resilience in action, adversity transformed into advantage, and risk converted into monumental profit. By the time the crew finished tallying their yields, it was obvious. Every challenge they overcame had paved the way to one of the greatest achievements in modern gold mining. But with a discovery this massive, attention naturally shifted to the environmental footprint as well. Regulators, scientists, and communities kept their eyes on the operation, aware that dredging in a delicate marine ecosystem presents significant ecological risks, from sediment plumes to disruptions in seabed habitats. Anticipating these concerns, Pomrenke's team reportedly adopted a strong set of environmental protocols from the very beginning. They used sediment curtains, mapped out controlled dredging corridors, and monitored water clarity around the clock to keep seabed disturbance in check. They also conducted surveys before and after dredging to better understand how the operation affected marine life, signaling an unprecedented level of environmental accountability for a mining project of this size. Their approach didn't stop at meeting basic regulations. Reports suggest the operation actively integrated eco-focused practices into its core workflow. Extracted sediment was processed in ways that reduced runoff, and chemical usage was tightly managed to avoid contamination. Environmental specialists worked side by side with crew members, helping them adjust techniques as conditions changed or new data emerged. Early reviews from local and federal oversight groups indicate that the team may have established a new standard for environmentally conscious dredging in extreme offshore environments. Analysts believe these practices could become the new normal for future Bering Sea projects. A balance of profit and preservation that proves large-scale gold extraction doesn't have to come at nature's expense. The industry's reaction to the record-breaking find was immediate, and electric veteran miners, geological experts, and investors worldwide were stunned by how efficiently the gold was harvested and how enormous the yield turned out to be. Analysts began breaking down Shawn's methods, from the Christine Rose's upgraded dredging systems to the team's real-time interpretation of geological data. Searching for clues that explained the operation's overwhelming success, competitors quickly pivoted, reworking their strategies, reassessing undeveloped sites, and investing in advanced dredging gear in hopes of catching even a fraction of Pomrenke's lightning in a bottle. Many experts hailed the discovery as a turning point that could redefine the economics of ocean mining. The media frenzy amplified everything tenfold. Within days, major outlets, business networks, and mining journals dedicated non-stop coverage to the $120 million haul. Articles highlighted the extreme conditions, the scale of the find, and the precision of Pomrenke's operation. Interviews with Shawn and his crew revealed the grit, planning, and near-superhuman endurance required to pull off something this massive. Social media exploded with clips from the deck of the Christine Rose, sparking viral fascination well beyond mining circles. It wasn't just the gold that hooked viewers. It was the story of human determination, leadership, and innovation in one of the toughest environments on the planet. Documentary creators wasted no time jumping on the story, rolling out in-depth coverage that traced the crew's journey from early preparations all the way to the final extraction. Their footage captured everything: the gut-punch challenges, the adrenaline-filled victories, and the raw grit it took to survive the Bering Sea. Sweeping cinematic shots showed waves hammering the Christine Rose, gold flashing under the sluice lights, and weary crew members pushing through icy, sleep-starved shifts. These visuals distilled the intensity of extreme offshore mining in a way audiences had never seen before. Suddenly, the world was watching gold mining in the Bering Sea, usually a niche topic, became a headline fixture, dominating talk shows, news panels, and international broadcasts. Viewership surged across mining channels, while commentators debated the discovery's economic, environmental, and technological significance. Meanwhile, the online world lit up like wildfire. Forums overflowed with technical breakdowns of Pomrenke's gear, strategy, and record-shattering efficiency. Hobbyists dissected every dredge cycle and every equipment upgrade, wondering if any other operation could match the Christine Rose, or if this was simply a geological once-in-a-century miracle. Social media hashtags went viral, with fans sharing location maps, rough value estimates, and slowed-down clips of gold pouring across the dredge. The combination of financial stakes, environmental scrutiny, and pure spectacle turned the operation into a global conversation that united professionals, enthusiasts, and casual viewers alike. Industry analysts quickly pointed out how profoundly the discovery could reshape resource exploration. Interest surged in hard-to-reach areas of the Bering Sea and other extreme environments that had previously been dismissed as too risky or too expensive. Forecasts suggested ripple effects far beyond the immediate payout, from fluctuations in gold prices to shifts in investor behavior and renewed interest in maritime extraction. Pomrenke's operation showed that with enough precision, innovation, and sheer drive, even the harshest environments could become arenas for record-breaking success. Environmental researchers also took note. They framed the Christine Rose's season as a real-world example of how high-value extraction might coexist with responsible environmental management. The team's consistent monitoring, adaptive dredging strategies, and targeted mitigation efforts became a blueprint for what sustainable, large-scale marine operations could look like. Early academic papers praised the approach, suggesting it could raise expectations for future regulations and set a higher bar for stewardship in fragile ecosystems. The operation demonstrated that profitability and ecological responsibility do not have to be opposing forces, even in one of the world's most challenging marine environments. Industry leaders applauded Pomrenke's strategic execution, highlighting the seamless fusion of cutting-edge engineering with human expertise. Every element, dredge placement, processing flow, equipment tuning, was calibrated for maximum output and minimum downtime. Real-time data from each dredge pass allowed the crew to refine their technique continuously, stacking incremental improvements that ultimately resulted in unprecedented yields. This combination of technological insight and disciplined decision-making set a new operational standard, proving that excellence isn't accidental, it's engineered. At the same time, the visibility of the discovery underscored how vital storytelling has become in modern mining. By capturing the process through interviews, video logs, and media partnerships, Pomrenke transformed a technical achievement into a human narrative. Audiences weren't just seeing gold. They were seeing the strain, strategy, danger, improvisation, and teamwork behind it. The result was a layered story that taught viewers about geology, engineering, environmental responsibility, and the unpredictable nature of offshore mining. By the time the initial shockwaves settled, the Bering Sea had become a global focal point for exploration, innovation, and investment. Environmental foresight, industry admiration, and non-stop media amplification combined into a perfect storm of influence. The $120 million discovery was no longer just an incredible payday. It had become a transformative moment that shifted how the world viewed extreme environment mining. Everyone, from local officials to international financiers, recognized the operation's far-reaching consequences. Nearby communities felt the changes firsthand. Media crews poured in. Local businesses expanded to meet new demand. Universities and trade schools began using the discovery as a case study for engineering, geoscience, logistics, and environmental planning. The operation ignited a remarkable blend of industry, science, and storytelling, proving how one expertly executed mining expedition could send shockwaves across multiple sectors at once. Through deliberate environmental planning, flawless execution, and smart media strategy, Pomrenke's team established new standards on nearly every front. Their methods addressed immediate extraction goals while also shaping long-term sustainability, public engagement, and industry evolution. The combination of innovation, teamwork, and forward-thinking leadership propelled the operation into mining history. Each sluice tray poured, each dredge maneuver executed, and every precaution taken fed into a larger narrative of grit, precision, and vision. The $120 million haul didn't just break records, it rewrote expectations. It inspired global audiences, elevated industry practices, and proved what's possible when ambition meets expertise in one of the harshest environments on the planet. The media coverage became a defining part of the legacy itself. Viral videos, news specials, and deep-dive documentaries gave the world a front-row seat to the entire operation. Audiences witnessed the engineering complexity, the coordination required to run the dredge, and the jaw-dropping moments when massive loads of gold surfaced. This blend of science, spectacle, and human endurance created an immersive, unforgettable, global narrative. And in doing so, Pomrenke's operation didn't just extract gold, it showcased what modern mining can achieve when efficiency, responsibility, and storytelling converge. The extensive media coverage didn't just inform audiences, it ignited global fascination. Public interest skyrocketed, with tours of the Christine Rose and related mining operations reportedly booked months in advance. Educational institutions and community programs began integrating aspects of the operation into curricula, highlighting geology, mining technology, and industrial strategy, while outreach initiatives inspired a new generation of students to explore careers in resource extraction. The excitement extended to financial circles as well, with renewed interest in gold investment and maritime mining ventures, as both individual investors and institutional entities recognized the opportunity presented by this record-breaking haul. Live streams, video diaries, and detailed analyses continued to amplify public curiosity, turning the operation into a global spectacle that combined adventure, science, and commerce. Looking ahead, Pomrenke's vision for the Bering Sea and beyond signals an ambitious expansion. Plans to increase dredging capacity, explore new underwater territories, and integrate next-generation mining technologies are reportedly underway. Innovations in sonar mapping, dredge design, and material processing aim to enhance efficiency, reduce environmental impact, and maximize yield. Collaborations with other industry leaders are being considered, potentially merging expertise and resources to replicate the success in other remote regions. Analysts predict that the strategies and operational frameworks established during this discovery could set new standards for large-scale maritime gold extraction, influencing both economic models and environmental guidelines across the industry. Pomrenke's approach demonstrates that sustainability and profitability can coexist, providing a blueprint for future endeavors that seek to balance financial return with ecological responsibility.